supportive, balanced, and self-care. Hello, my name is Sarah Bailey, and I have a business called Soothing Psychic Readings. I'm based in Lancaster, in the northwest. Yeah, I do them in person at my house under normal circumstances, and I also do them online via Skype, WhatsApp, or video messenger. At first I was quite nervous, thinking I'm going to lose a lot of business, people won't want to have a psychic reading online. But what I've found is that because the rest of the country are doing, obviously in lockdown, and everybody else in the country that would normally access psychics close to their area where they live, most people are getting their heads around doing online readings because that's the only way they're being conducted right now. So people are trying it for the first time, and because it's online, they don't have to access somebody near their house. So I'm finding that I'm doing lots more readings for people in different parts of the country. So for me, I'm getting more clients, but they're coming from further afield. Well, I use different psychic abilities. So the main one that I use is called clairvoyance, which means clear vision. And I also use clairsentience, which means clear feeling, and my lesser developed, I would say, ability, or my less dominant one, is the clairaudience, which is the listening, can hear psychic information. So I use a combination of all those three abilities, and I also use different activities with the clients. I can do them in person, I can do them online as well. I use something called psychometry, which is something that I use in person with somebody, and it's where I hold a piece of jewellery or a personal artefact. Jewellery works well because it's on your skin, and I can hold it and tune into a person's energy and pick up pictures, which is clairvoyance, and feelings, which is clairsentience, about somebody's life. I also use cards, which I can do online as well. I can kind of hold them up and shuffle them, and my client will tell me when to stop shuffling, and so I have to adapt it for online readings. And I also get people to do a drawing, which again we can do online, and I interpret that. That's kind of my doorway into their world, if you like. I actually do group bookings where a few people will come at the same time, but I never do the readings all at the same time in the same room with everybody. And they come together as a social activity to do. But when they are here, people will wait in a different room, or they'll wait in the car while individuals have their readings. But we do have some time at the start where we sit around and chat about how the readings work, and they all get to do the picture together and things like that. So there are aspects of it that are done within the group, but the actual readings are very private and they're individual. I think if you get people that want to come together for readings in the same space at the same time, their energies get mixed up, and you can never really tell who the information's for. People take what resonates with them, and it's quite a difficult thing to describe to people that are not psychic, that don't use these abilities, or they don't go for readings very often. You kind of come to understand after you've had a few readings how it works. But the way that I explain it to people that have never had a reading before, or they're very new to psychic readings, is that my spirit guides, I have 3, they work with the higher power of the client, and I open myself up and tune in. I have a whole process that I do where I open up my energy centres, and once I've done that, the higher power of the client, along with my spirit guides, decide what comes through me and what I can see. So I am a clear channel for that information. And some people will come for a reading and they'll get 3 years of general information. Some people will come and will get 3 months of really intense, specific stuff. And there's no real rhyme or reason to why. We can't really predict why some people get different kind of levels of information. The best way I can describe it is through an analogy. Is that if you imagine that a client's life, for example, you, Ruth, your life is like a garage, a darkened room, pitch black, and my psychic eye is like a torch being shone just in different parts of the dark room. And you're not supposed to know the whole picture, the full picture, because you've got to engage with life, you've got to manage uncertainty, deal with self-doubt, in order to be able to make decisions and grow and learn from your life experiences. If the light was turned on and you could see the whole picture of your life and how it's going to pan out, then you'd put your feet up, you wouldn't engage with it, and you wouldn't grow and you wouldn't learn. So as a psychic, we get to see illuminate a torch just on certain areas, but it doesn't come from me. I've just got to tell you what I see. And that the stuff that you see is the stuff that's kind of the most beneficial for you to know right now, but in order for your soul to grow. I started to do the psychic picture when I was 17. I've done that I'm now 48, so I've done that for a long time. But the other psychic abilities, I didn't really realise when I did the picture that there was a psychic element to it. I just interpreted the symbols of the picture. And then once I realised that I was using psychic abilities, it was after a period in my life where a bad relationship had finished. I did personal therapy for a year. I stopped partying. This was kind of in my early 30s, and my tempo of my life at that point changed. And it was at that point, after the therapy and I'd sorted out a lot of my own personal baggage, I cleared up my internal world, emotionally speaking, and that's when I was able to be a clear channel. That was sort of nearly 20 years ago now, and I started to practice holding people's jewellery. And the first instance where I knew that I was psychic was I was talking to a new friendship, and this friend invited me around to her house for a coffee, and she said, "Would you like a tarot reading while you're here?" So it was all something that I quite enjoyed, so she did me a reading. And then after the reading, she was telling me about an offer she put in on a house, to purchase a house. And she said, "I won't tell you anything about it because I don't want to jinx it." And I saw the house really, really clearly. I saw her living in it. I described I said, "Does your house have is it 3 bedrooms? It has a loo downstairs and it's got a coal bunker on the right hand side of it." So I described it in detail. She said, "How do you know?" And I just said, "I had no idea." From that point on, I just kept holding people's jewellery and practicing to see if I got information right. So I practiced for about 15 years on friends and family, and until I built up my confidence and realised that I was able to do it accurately and on demand. And then when I went on maternity, which was 5 years ago, I designed a website and started to do clients and advertise, and it's just kind of gone from strength to strength from that point on. That was 5 years ago. It's just me. I've always been like this. That if I was to absent-mindedly relax and do what I want to do, it would be to pick up a psychic magazine or pick up an astrology magazine or read about esoteric stuff. I've travelled to India and things like that. It's just me and what I'm about. I've always been like this. I don't consciously think, right, I'm going to learn this. I've just always been drawn to it and always been interested in it. So it's developed sort of quite naturally, really. I didn't decide I want to be a psychic. It's just kind of evolved over time. I am actually a qualified art teacher, which is, I work quite visually as a psychic as well. So it's just a kind of combination of my interests, my hobbies, that I've managed to very luckily be able to make a living out of. Okay. I call them soothing psychic readings for the very reason that people want to go somewhere, not necessarily a counsellor, not a friend, because a friend knows too much and tries to help in sometimes very unhelpful ways. So people kind of come to be listened to, to have a one-way conversation where it's completely about them. I'm there as a sounding board, as a listening board, and to offer reassurance and a listening ear. And I'd say one of the main questions that people come to me for is to know if they're on the right path in their life. And that's to kind of manage uncertainty and manage frustration, and to know that where they are putting their energies, they are not wasting their time. So I think that's one of the primary services that I provide, is to offer some guidance as to whether they are on the right path or whether they need to make some adjustments. So my kind of psychic eye in a way can help them realign themselves if need be to a more successful, happier, more fulfilling path. People tend to leave here feeling better, and it's not just because I've seen some psychic imagery that has helped them. It's because they have been reassured through the process, without a doubt. Yeah. I have recently taken up wild swimming. I keep jumping in lakes. I'm training to be a psychotherapist. I'm in at the back end of my first year of my training, so I'm training to be a counsellor. I have 2 children, one's 21 and one's 5, so I've got a bit of an age gap. And I'm a relational person. I like people. I like listening to people. I like one-to-one with people. I don't do small talk. I find it drives me mad. I can manage about an hour. I like to be with people in the reality of their emotions and how they are feeling. I like to sit with somebody and hold them in what's actually going on for them emotionally. Yeah, and I like to garden. I like to take photographs. I like to do a bit of drawing. Yeah, I like creativity. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, age range from 18 to 80. Men, women, predominantly women, but I do get quite a lot of guys that come. And maybe men that you necessarily wouldn't expect. Very professional men. I've had quite a lot of men that have been soldiers, that have come out the other side, and they need some support about what to do with their lives. There's no real there doesn't seem to be any logic to it. It's just kind of anybody. It works for everybody, and it's for anybody. And I would say that the majority of clients are women, and they generally want to know about general life stuff, relationships, work, well-being, that kind of thing. Yeah. Down to earth experience, relaxed. It's very, to me, it's very matter of fact what I do. I'm very, very aware of my own self-care. I've been to psychics before in the past, and I felt a little bit nervous because I can't gauge their energy very well, or it doesn't feel necessarily very positive, their energy. But I'm very, I'd say very light and very reassuring. I wouldn't say that I've ever had a client that would that I felt uncomfortable with, or I felt that they felt uncomfortable. Never. I think I can normally tell within the 30 seconds that I've made my client laugh, or we've relaxed into it by a comment that I've made, and it's reassured them. Yeah.
Okay.
Go through my website a lot of the time, or they'll find me on Facebook and they'll just drop me a messenger message. So you can call. My number's on Facebook and it's on my website. So people come in all different ways. They'll email me. There's lots of different ways that people message me. There's no one main way. I always get the messages and I always respond within 24 hours.